Hey Flosstube, it's Christine, Miss Cookie Stitcher, and I'm back for my second episode. And what I decided to do for this one is just kind of do a theme by designer. Get to that in a minute. New haircut for new school year, and I've been to my new classroom, and I do have my cross stitch from episode 1 displayed up there, so I will insert it right around here so that you can see what I did. The only ones I don't have in are the new ones that I need to put into a hoop, and I just have to search for the right size hoop for that. Otherwise, everything will work. Also, of course, since the last episode, I did go shopping at my local needlework store, and I picked up a few things. I picked up some fabric. You'll see that in a minute with my one of my whips, and then I picked up some finishing products from Dames of the Needle, and I just like these colors. I'm sure I'll find a use for them. If not, pretty. I like them. So especially this one, the faded colonial blue. I'm sure I can find something for that. And I can probably find something in this book. I got Blackbird Designs in Friendship's Way. I like the designs. I like a lot of the projects in them. So even if I don't get to them, it's a really pretty book to flip through. In fact, when I went, one of the workers there was like, "I thought you bought this book already." And I'm like, "Of course I didn't buy this book already. I know I don't have this book." I get in the car and I'm like, "What if I have this book?" I don't have it already. That was the first time I bought it. So, I try to get those now. Since they do go out of print pretty quickly. Once they're sold, it's hard to find a copy. I'm just kind of looking around because I hear some noises, and I think it might be my cat. So she might give us a visit. We'll see how it goes. So today I wanted to go through some of the Brooks Books patterns that I have. I've done a couple. I have even more patterns that I need to do. Some that are finished. I have about 4 that I finished, and they're FFOs. I have one that's not. It's finished, but it's not. It's just an FO. And then I have 2 more that I want to get started on, and they're kitted up and ready to go. And then I have about 5 or 6 that I want to do that aren't kitted up. I just have the patterns for them. And what I liked about her patterns, what really got me into them when I got back into cross stitching about 10, 12 years ago, I love dolls, I love miniatures, and that's what a lot of her designs look like. And so the first one I did was the Spirit of Cross Stitch angel ornaments, and I don't have this one to show you because I gifted it to a friend back in 2014. So she has it, but I will put a picture in. And then the first one that I kept was the Angel of Cross Stitch. Looks very Jane Austen style. Loved it too. It was a lot quicker to stitch up because the dress is a little bit smaller, and I love the little kitty right down here too. So I do have that one, and I know a lot of people make them into ornaments or stands. Not with my cats. I can't have anything up like that, so I try to frame or make it durable. And so what I did is I went ahead and I framed her in a frame I just got from Michael's. And what I did on the back is I just glued scrapbook paper that kind of went with the design onto the actual board, the chipboard here. So I did that, and then I used glue dots to put the doll, there we go, still getting used to this, guys, to put the doll onto the scrapbook paper. So she hangs up on my wall, and I just have a wall of random stitchy stuff that probably won't go down into the house. It just kind of stays up in the craft room. So that was the second one I finished. Really enjoyed that one. And then I got into some of the more fancier ones. Jane Austen at the Christmas Ball. I did her without the wings, so she was supposed to look like that. Didn't quite work out that way. Still gorgeous. I'm not quite done with the frame. It's a larger shadow box because the fan right over here is very three-dimensional and it wouldn't fit in a traditional frame like the other one I did. She's also missing the tendrils around her face because I couldn't get them right. And they just kept looking wonky. I used memory thread instead of the hot wire, and it just looked bad. This was the most fiddly one. I hope it's the fiddliest of them. I did make some changes to the fan. Okay, it was supposed to be green. I didn't have green paper. I wasn't going to buy green paper for such a small piece. What was I going to do with the rest of the paper? So I used gold, and then I just changed some of the colors so it's Christmassy. I also did not add the fringe on the shawl. I tried, but the paper started to tear, and in order to just keep the shawl the way it was just a lot easier. So that is her. You can see my reflection in there. Maybe that's a little better. A lot of light up here. So, but I did love working on her up until the finishing got too fiddly, and then it was game over. I just left it as is. I didn't want to screw it up and ruin it. So another one I did was a freebie on her website. I'll link her website. I know she's been working on it, so that or her Etsy shop. And it's called The Happy Couple. And I just love the kind of French Revolution 1700s dresses that they're wearing. I love the colors, the pinks, kind of the purples and the blues. And so I just took it and I mounted it in a hoop. And then I found a box that's just about a little bit bigger. And I used Eileen's sticky glue, tacky glue, craft glue, to attach it. And then I placed it down, put some books on top of it to help. And then on the inside, I papered it with some scrap paper that I thought complemented it really well. And I keep some smalls and some other pieces like scissors, fobs, and pin cushions in there. And when I first did it, it's a happy couple. Originally it was designed to go with the bridal ornaments that she did that you can also buy. Someone's like, oh, who are you making it for? And I'm like, I'm making it for myself because I like it. And she kind of gave me this look, and I'm like, I can make it for myself if I want to. I can be single and have, the happy couple on the lid of a box because I just happen to like the design. So this was a really easy one to stitch up. It probably took me longer just to put it on the box and paint the box and paper the box really than anything else. So I really enjoyed that one too. Now, one of her more recent collections, and Cleo's down here, so she is pulling floss out of my bag. She loves floss. Sorry, I had to save that. Was from her princess collection, and a lot of them look to be inspired by Disney princesses. And my favorite one's Beauty and the Beast, so I had to get that pattern. So there she is, and it's kind of hard to tell, but it's really pale blue fabric. Okay, maybe once I get that framed, it'll be easier to see. But I love it. I used memory thread instead of the hot wire. I know memory thread has been discontinued. I've seen a lot about that on different Flosstube pages and from designers, but I can still find it in my shop. So hot wire I can't. So I was able just to use that instead. And the ribbon on her dress for the flounces, that is not what was called for. They called for oyster, which is super white. And it's sparkly and pretty, but it didn't remind me of the way I wanted the dress to be. So I just left it. I found some gold that I could use, and that was probably the hardest bit, was making the roses and making sure that they fit with the flounces properly. And that it would lay correctly so that when I frame it, and I probably won't frame this myself, I think it's just a little too fiddly and I want it to be in a nice frame with a mat. So we'll see how it is. I really only wanted to do that dress. I liked a lot of the other princesses in the collection, but there came the problem that where would I put them when I was done with them? I didn't really just want to frame them and hang them up for the sake of having them. They're pretty. The Cinderella, the Snow White, the Sleeping Beauty ones were pretty. And then I know her release schedule was messed up too. I didn't do the pre-sale. I know it was cheaper that way, but we're still waiting on the Snow Queen, which is Elsa. So hopefully that one will come out soon, and then that'll be the last of the series. They're really pretty. They're really quick to stitch as well, even with all of the embellishments. Now, the other one I'm going to do probably for my niece, and I don't have a picture of it because I had to print the PDF off, and I was trying to save ink. Okay, there we go. I was trying to save the toner, so I didn't print it off. But you can go to her webpage and find it. I'm going to be using this fabric. It'll be really hard to tell what it looks like. It doesn't show up kind of the blue-greeny gray that it is. Here it's mostly just a blue color, or maybe gray for you. I'll fiddle with the lighting next time, or once I start my whip and sewing it. And you can see the variations. It looked really underwatery, and I liked it. I'm also going to be doing a lot of conversions on the Krynic. I couldn't find the Krynic, but I did have some of the DMC special fibers that I could use instead. So I think that's what I'm probably going to end up doing, just to kind of make it my own. So it'll be fine. I think it'll be pretty, and yeah. Last of the princesses I'm going to do. So those are the one, oh wait, no, I have one more that I'm going to stitch. This is the one that Cleo was just trying to get the floss out of the bag. That would be the Spirit of Knitting Angel ornaments. I'm going to finish her the same way I did the Angel of Cross Stitch, because I just like the way it finished, and that way nobody can get into it. The worst that happens is it falls off the wall and the glass breaks. So it just happened already. In fact, she's watching us. Hey! So that's her spot, and as long as she stays there, we should be good. So the ones that I want to stitch, Brooks Books, what's left? What is left? There is the Spirit of Quilting. Love the dress. Look at the cat. Love the cat. The cat is so cute. There's that one. Sorry, I got a lot of papers here today. There is the Spirit of Christmas Stitching. So you have cross stitching, the Spirit, the Angel, and then Christmas Stitching. So I really like that one too. That one's really pretty. Eventually, right? And another thing, I like that on perforated paper, I use 3 strands, and that uses up a lot of the thread that I have collected. So that's helpful. And this one's just gorgeous, the Spirit of Mistletoe. This bustle comes, is the second piece, kind of giving it that dimensional look. And I just think it's a gorgeous dress. So, that one. And then there's the Spirit of America, which is super pretty as well. Very much in line with the Spirit of Cross Stitch one that I did, with the same type of dress. So I think it's just very fitting. And then, what else do I have? a Spirit of Evergreen. And that's it for the ones that I want to do. Like I said, I really like dolls and miniatures, and I kind of like the way that those turned out, the ones that I did before. So I'll keep going with those and see how it goes. Now, I have a few more of her designs. I probably won't get around to stitching them. I bought them to do something for my sister because she liked the Wizard of Oz. And I just can't see myself stitching them. There's other stuff. They're super cute. Got the Yellow Brick Road. If I do anything, I might do this one for her. But I don't think I'm going to do all of them. They're super cute, but there's other stuff I want to stitch, and I keep pushing these off to the side and pushing them off to the side. So I might just find a new home for those and find something else to do for my sister. So that would be helpful. And yeah, I know I talk really fast. I try to get as much done as I can. I would like to keep this like half an hour. Would be good. So what about works in progress? I have a lot. I showed some of them to you last week, and I decided to participate in Arbitrary August. Was watching Michelle Bendy Stitchy, and she was doing it, and she also got me started on another pattern. And this is the fabric that I bought, and I've decided to do Tiny Modernist's Haunted Mansion, and that's all I've gotten so far. I wanted to get to this first room as soon as possible so I could start stitching up Dracula, and he's super cute. Once I get the whole thing done, when I was stitching up his pants and his vest, I kept thinking Joker from Batman. The Jack Nicholson one. He just kind of, the colors fit that very, very well. And I'm not really a Halloween or seasonal person, but it's a house, and like I said, I just love doll houses and miniatures and stuff. And it looks super cute. The more I looked at it, the more I was like, I want to do that one. I really do. So the fabric, I know I wrote a note of that down, is Picture This Plus 32 Count Magic. I think it called for a different color, but I like this one better. So the house, I was afraid the house would go into it too much, but I think it's going to pop out fine once I put the colors in the windows and the rest of the house is built. So I'm going to try to get the house done, go room by room. Hopefully I can get that room done so I can start the interior when it's released. And then I can go back and do the leftovers, the trees, the bats, when I'm done. So I'm going to try to keep up with it as best as I can. So that was as of, did I do this yesterday? Wednesday. So from Saturday to Wednesday, that's what I got done. Now today's pattern, I haven't gotten much done on. I used the Tiny Decisions app on my phone, and this one I started several years ago because I loved it. It's Plum Street Sampler, Blackberry House, and that's how far I've gotten. So excited to start it, and then I think, you know, all the other pretty designs come out, and I want to do all the designs. Sorry, that was me. And it doesn't always happen in the way I want it to. I did make some changes. It's on Edinburgh Linen 36 count Winter Moon, and I know that with a lot of the higher counts, a lot of people like to do 1/2. I haven't quite broken out of the 2/2 way of thinking. So I'm still doing 2/2. I'm not doing 1/2. Maybe for a later design I will, but as of right now, I think I'm just going to keep on keeping on with this. I also changed some of the colors because I didn't have everything that they needed. So the Gentle Arts Cottage Blue I changed to Aged Pewter, which is the color at the top in the bunting. Um, so we're just gonna see how it goes. I need to finish it. I say that about all of them, but maybe I can get some done today at Stitch Group. Um, Probably not, but maybe I'll move a little bit forward with that one. So that's another whip that I had yesterday for and Saturday, maybe? I'll say Saturday. I worked on Nikki's creation. It's the Garden Time Sewing Bag, which was a Nashville release this year. And I also bought the German banding that the design picture was in. So this is 2 days work, which I'm thrilled with. My goal was to actually fill in this motif last night, but setting up my classroom tired me out more than I thought it would. I don't know what I'm going to do next week. Next week I go back full time. I have meetings. I have to meet with parents, professional development, getting classrooms ready, making copies. I've been in super rest mode for 6 weeks, 8 weeks. That it's always a rough adjustment, but every year it seems to be a little rougher. One change I did make is in the basket. If you can see, don't know if you can see, I used a rice stitch instead of just the regular cross stitch to give it a little bit more of maybe a basket weave texture, just to kind of switch things up for a while. Every once in a while I like to change up some of the stitches just to make things interesting. So hopefully if I get this hit one more time on my wheel for Arbitrary August, I can get this done. If it's a Saturday or Sunday whip. If it's a Monday through Friday whip, no. I'm going to have papers. I'm going to have exhaustion, syllabi, web page, lesson plans, department chair meetings. I walked into that one. I need to learn how to say no. We're working on it. So that is Nikki's Creations Garden Time Sewing Bag. And I like it. Shakespeare's Birthplace, I think I showed last time. Didn't get too much done. Hasn't been hit yet on Arbitrary August, but I do have more done than last time. This is on way too big of a piece of even weave, but it was packaged that way, so I'm just going with it. I'm not going to cut it or anything. And last time I showed it, I had just a little tiny bit done. I think it was like this section right here. So I'm moving towards the door and the side of the house, and that's actually as far as the edge goes. So yeah, you can see I have quite a few inches on the edge. And it'll go down a little further, but not too many more rows. We're talking like right down here. So it's not as big a piece as I thought it would end up being. I think it's just charted really large. And again, that's the chart that was handwritten. It wasn't a computerized chart. So parts of it is in the red with the same symbols. So I have to be careful when I look at my working copy versus my original copy. Another one I didn't work on much. It's Marty Bell's The Abbey. It's another older design. I got it at like a swap. Gorgeous. It is a house on Cape May, New Jersey. And it is huge. 2002. I guess not that old. I mean, I still think the 90s were like 10 years ago. So 2002 doesn't seem like that long ago to me. And now that I look at the back, I kind of also want that one too, Miss Hathaway's garden, which would have been Shakespeare's wife's home. Just every time I look around. So that one I've been working on, and it has a nice, readable chart, which is nice. So this is, I was going to do all this the other day. I gridded it because it's huge and it's on Ada. With a full coverage project, I don't mind working on Ada. So this one, I did this part right up here. Alright, the rest of this, most of this had been done like a year ago when I first started it, and then I put it away because I had cooler projects to work on. Faster projects. So this right here is the area that I worked on. It's kind of an upstairs, like attic-y type window. And it's pretty. I love the colors. I found a dollhouse at an estate sale for $40 already built in very much the same style. And I like those colors, and I think we're going to use them. And when I say I found it, my mom found it. And then we, $40. It's 3 stories, and it was already built. It was a steal. It's our first dollhouse. We're a little crazy. But we'll get it done in like, what, 10, 20 years? And my last whip is the French alphabet by JVW Designs. And I have this design has been beat up. It has been eaten by the cat. That cat? See her? No. Hey, Cleo. Okay, but she likes paper. She likes everything. But that's what it's going to be. And when I bought it, I didn't think it was going to be that huge. Foolish. And this is just a piece of even weave I got in a package. And I just thought the colors were really perfect on it. And so I've got quite a bit done. Not this time. I couldn't even finish the P. That was a super busy day. So the P right there. And then there's going to be that whole gigantic border. And I know I don't have the same lot for some of the thread. It's Week Dye Works. But it's whatever. It's a sampler. If I can at least get the alphabet done in the right colors, the border will be fine. And it does have some over one with like the name and the place. And I mean, it's really gorgeous because it has French place names on the pattern. And I'm like, look at that. Yeah, right? And I'm going to put what? Simpsonville? So, fun times. And that's not even all of my already started projects. These are just the arbitrary August ones that I've done so far since I started on Saturday. I have others that are in the queue. If I look on my that haven't hit the Tiny Decisions yet. The Garden Time bag, Shakespeare's Birthplace. Spring Doll House, which I showed last time. That's the Natalia Luneva one. I have Over the Hills by Brenda Keyes, the sampler company. I showed that last time. Believe in Dreams by the Primitive Hair. I showed that last time. French Alphabet, Blackberry House. Queen of the Needle is probably the only one I haven't showed at some point, and I haven't started it. That's the Anne Boleyn Needle Keep. That's on the Boleyn fabric from the Primitive Hair. And the Haunted Mansion. So I've shown you all of them but the one at some point or other. So hopefully more of them will get done in the next few weeks. If I have to just put 10 stitches in Monday through Friday each night, then that's what I'll do. But it keeps me sane, as I mentioned. So That's really, really what I'm looking to do. Just kind of keep the sanity going because it's going to be crazy with the new school um, and the new responsibilities that go with that. But I think it's going to be a good year. So cross some fingers. I'm going to make it a good year. So, couple of shout outs. I mentioned Michelle Bendy Stitchy Bendy. I always get it wrong because she really inspired me to do the Haunted Mansion. Again, a very atypical pattern for me, but it's so stinking cute. I couldn't not do it. So there's going to be that one. And then I'm going to insert some pictures in a moment of Cleo Murder Cat. Remember hashtag Cleo Murder Cat on Instagram. I was watching one of Pretty Southern's videos last week after I put my video up, and I had never seen her jump up to the TV and try to touch the person on the screen as much as she tried to do during this video. It was hilarious. It's on Instagram, so if you want to do hashtag Cleo Murder Cat, that's her hashtag. She owns it. So you can see pictures of that, and you know, I was really worried. What was the other one? Just Keep Stitching with Steph and Pam. You know, Cleo might have overtaken that friendship there if she wasn't a cat and didn't become indifferent 5 minutes later. But it was funny just watching her interact with the TV set, like, oh, who's that pretty lady out there? And I'm like, so that was really funny. I have to give a shout out to them as well. And who else? I think I'll leave it at that. And then in a few weeks, like next week, if I ever make another video, if work isn't consuming me, if I ever stitch again, once work starts back up again, then I'll do another video. I do want to show off my little house and country cottage pieces. Don't have a lot done. But their patterns are super cute, and even if I never do, you know, a tiny proportion of their patterns, I just love looking at them and just the inspiration that comes from them. And also, I have enough to do a memorabilia episode. I have about 6 or 7 done, and about 3 in the works, which means I'm kitting them, or they're mostly kitted, or I just need fabric, or I just need the pattern. So there will be those as well. And after that, I might just wing it, which is kind of frightening because, you know, lesson plans. I do my lesson plans. Gotta do lesson plans. That way I can stay on track and on topic and not ramble too long. Last thing, I did the books I'm reading. I am still on Mary Boleyn. And when I left off last week, she had just finished off her affair with Francois the First of France, or Francis the First. And now I'm at the point where her sister Anne has caught the eye of King Henry VIII, who Mary had recently had an affair with. And I have less than 100 pages left of actual reading material. This much is resources and endnotes and bibliography. Bibliography? Index. Bibliography, endnotes, index. There we go. So I can actually probably finish this up in 2 or 3 nights of good reading. And in fact, it's really like 60 pages because then the appendix starts. But I still like to read those because it has a lot of good information. I used to not be an appendix or an intro reader. but they actually do give quite a bunch of good information. A lot of intros tell you where the resources were used, what sources were used, and they also tell you sometimes the layout of the book, like chapters 1 through 5 might be about this, and this is what my thesis is. And so I just appreciate good organization in historical nonfiction. And Alison Ware, she does a really good job with this. She has been very specific and very thorough in looking at the different rumors in Mary's life and what could possibly be true and what is probably not true. And I say it in those terms because a lot was not written about her relationship with Henry VIII or with Francis I of France. They're not going to write down details of an affair. So a lot of it had to be construed from gifts to Mary, from gifts to her husband, and gifts to perhaps her children. And there's also a lot of rumor that's been passed down over through the years from different historians. Historians that were writing maybe 200 years ago who didn't really have sources but were listening to anecdotal information that was passed down. So, but she's looking at this is what, they wrote down. Henry gave William Carey her first husband. There's also the very high probability that her oldest daughter was Henry VIII's, Catherine Carey, and not her son, Henry Carey, who was her second child. And they just showed evidence from his relationship with the previous mistress that once she had a child, he paid her off, sent her money, took care of the child, but didn't really pursue that relationship anymore. So the same was probably true of Mary. And because she was married at the time of the affair, he didn't really want to. And that was around the same time he wanted a divorce from Catherine of Aragon, or was looking to get a divorce. And he didn't want to muddy the issue anymore. And then, of course, her sister came around, and eventually Mary's probably the luckiest of her family, her two surviving siblings, Anne and George, and her dad, Thomas, who were all executed as part of that debacle. So it's a very interesting story of how someone's reputation has been smeared for hundreds of years, and it's really wasn't that way. It's more of a situation where she did what she had to do because she didn't have much of a choice. So I think that Mary Boleyn would probably be part of the #MeToo movement. But enough of that. Good book, love her books, and I don't know what the next one's going to be. It's going to have to be something easy with school coming back up, something I can breeze through, or something that I can put down and pick up and not worry about losing the scope of the story. So we'll see. But thanks for hanging out today. Thanks for watching. And keep watching. Thanks. Bye.